It was December, and my sister showed up at my door soaked through, carrying her 3-year-old daughter in the rain. She didn't say a word. She just looked at me with this broken expression and whispered my husband threw us out. I had no idea what I was walking into. I'd just pulled a 14-hour logistics shift with the National Guard. My brain was fried. Rain hammering down. And then I see Laura standing under my porch, light drenched, holding Ava against her chest with this thin blanket that was already soaked through. Her daughter's little pink sneakers had lights in the soles. Every time Ava moved her feet, they blinked weakly in the dark. That detail mattered. Because in about 2 hours, I'd understand why. Laura looked me in the eye. Not angry. Not dramatic. Just destroyed. My husband brought his mistress home, she said. Her voice cracked. His mother helped him throw us out. I stood there for maybe 2 seconds. Rain dripping off my hood. And that's when something shifted inside me. Get in my truck. Now it's my turn. Inside my place, Ava started crying. Not loud. Just exhausted little whimpers. I wrapped her in one of my old army towels and heated up soup while Laura sat frozen at my kitchen table like her body hadn't caught up with reality yet. Tell me what happened, I said. Laura laughed, not because anything was funny, but because she was barely holding it together. Brian said we needed to talk, she said. I thought he was finally going to admit the affair. Wait, there was already an affair. He'd been seeing a 24-year-old named Kelsey from his work. Laura said quietly. I found texts 2 months ago. He told me I was being paranoid, but here's where it gets insane. Laura came home today, opened her kitchen door, and found this girl Kelsey sitting in her kitchen, drinking wine from her glasses like she belonged there, and standing right beside her Brian's mother, Patricia, holding a spare key. I felt something cold settle in my chest. This wasn't a mistake. This was planned. What did he do? I asked. Laura stared at her soup. He said he was tired of living in chaos. Chaos, that word almost made me laugh out loud. Laura had spent 15 years color-coding grocery lists. She ran that house like a military operation. School pickups, birthday parties, bills, Christmas planning, she did everything. Meanwhile, Brian couldn't remember their daughter's allergy medication. But here's the crazy part. Did he take money? I asked. Laura nodded slowly. He emptied the checking account yesterday. Joint account. Then he canceled all my cards. I leaned back in my chair. That's when I realized this wasn't passion. This wasn't some guy losing his mind. This was strategy. He lined everything up carefully. Money first. Locks second. Public image third. That kind of betrayal doesn't happen in one night. It takes planning. Later that night, Ava fell asleep on my couch, her soup bowl still in her lap. Laura stood up quietly to move it, and that's when I saw it. A tiny stuffed elephant sticking out of the trash bag she'd brought over. Dirty. Wet. One ear ripped. Laura whispered when she saw me looking. Ava grabbed it from the lawn. Brian threw some of her things outside. I stood there staring at that elephant, and something inside me went ice cold. Because I work in military logistics. I know supply chains, contracts, federal compliance, and a few months earlier, Laura mentioned something I barely listened to. Brian's company had landed a subcontract on a federally funded veterans housing project near Cincinnati. Suddenly, all her complaints made sense. Expired safety certifications, cash payments, missing receipts, workers getting paid under the table. It sounded like contractor noise back then. Now it sounded different. The next morning, I didn't wake up thinking about revenge. I woke up thinking about evidence. I called the daycare. Brian is not allowed to pick up Ava until Laura gives written permission. I helped her freeze her cards. We took pictures of everything: her wet shoes, the drenched blanket, even that stuffed elephant. Laura hated every second of it. This feels ugly, she whispered. It is ugly, I told her. We're just documenting who made it that way. By noon, we were sitting in a legal aid office in downtown Dayton. A woman named Denise looked at Laura and said something that changed everything. Do not let shame make you polite right now. I wrote that down on the back of a gas receipt because it was the truest thing I'd heard all week. By day 3, Brian started his show. Facebook post. Sometimes protecting your peace means making painful decisions. His mother commented with a Bible verse about truth. Then a godly home cannot survive disrespect. Meanwhile, The man had thrown his daughter into the rain. I watched him lie to neighbors. She just took off, lied to church people. She was depressed, lied to his buddies. I'm just trying to keep Ava in a stable environment. Stable. That word almost made me punch my own kitchen cabinet, but I didn't. I waited until Ava was asleep, opened my laptop, and filed a complaint with the right federal people. Not emotional. Not anonymous. Just facts. Brian's company. The Veterans Housing Project. The expired certifications. The cash payments. The invoices with dates that didn't match. Workers wearing badges from different companies. I pointed toward the records and waited, and nothing happened. Then Kelsey messaged me. Not Laura. Me. I think I'm in trouble, she wrote at 11 p.m. while I was sitting at my kitchen table paying bills I could barely afford. Turns out Brian had used her name on paperwork she never signed. I met her at a Panera Bread the next day without telling Laura, which was probably wrong, but I needed information more than I needed to be noble. Kelsey showed up looking nothing like her Instagram photos. No makeup. Hair in a messy bun. Nervous. Just young. The second I sat down, she pulled out her phone and showed me everything: invoices, text messages, photos of forms in Brian's truck. And then buried in the screenshots, a text from Patricia. His mother moved the money through the church outreach account first. Nobody checks donations closely. I read it twice. Patricia. The church lady. The one with the Bible verses and the fake smile. She wasn't just defending her son. She was helping him commit fraud. I drove home furious enough to chew nails. Laura was coloring with Ava when I walked in. The second she saw my face, she knew. I met Kelsey, I said. The room went silent. You did what Laura whispered. I told her everything. The paperwork. The fraud. Patricia's text message, but Laura wasn't hearing strategy. She was hearing that I'd had coffee with the woman living in her house. You know what the worst part is, she said, her voice breaking. She probably knows more about my husband now than I do. She walked into the bedroom and shut the door. Not with anger. With quiet. Soft hurt is usually worse. By January, the papers came. A thick white envelope that looked innocent but wasn't. Brian was requesting partial custody. And he was claiming Laura was emotionally unstable, financially reckless, and heavily influenced by an aggressive family member. That aggressive family member was me. He'd thrown his kid into the rain. Now he wanted to punish Laura in court for leaving. But here's what I understood: that most people don't. Men like Brian don't panic when you leave. They panic when you stop believing their version of reality. The court hearings started 2 weeks later in downtown Dayton. Family court felt nothing like television. No speeches. No drama. Just a man sitting across from his ex-wife, realizing the world was finally seeing him clearly. Patricia sat in the back row. No more fake smiles. Kelsey wasn't there. She'd already turned state's evidence against the fraud scheme. And Laura. Laura sat next to her lawyer, holding Ava's hand, watching her husband's perfect life crumble under the weight of his own choices. Because here's the thing about people like Brian: they always run out of road. It just takes a minute for the people they hurt to stop waiting for the crash. And my sister? She'd stopped waiting.